weeks. Rebecca complaining about how her mother, Assemblywoman Donna Yu, had taken over the guest list, inviting all her political allies. Jessie ranting how she thought letting her parents plan a traditional wedding to save money created a bigger headache than she'd expected. There was enough anxiety going around that we didn't need to turn on each other when we needed each other the most. Since I had the double honor of being their bridesmaid and their florist, I really needed them to get along, or else they were going to make my life more difficult than it already was. People have asked how our group has lasted over the past 10 years, assuming that our personalities clashed. Rebecca spoke her mind, the apple not falling far from her family's political tree, with the delivery of a well-intentioned meddling auntie. Jessie, in her natural state of lycra and French braids, intimidated people with her brash brawn and beauty. But our group was balanced by Beth and me. Beth was smart and a natural helper, so it surprised no one when she got into med school at USC. She wasn't easily bothered except when it was crunch time for exams, when she basically went off the grid. Beth was only locatable by her chef boyfriend Ethan, purely because they lived together. And me? I'd like to think that my penchant to avoid conflict made me a great mediator, even though my therapist suggested that I work on my communication skills. But the real secret to our friendship was that we embraced each other's differences. We didn't expect each other to think the same way or agree all the time, even though it would have made our lives easier. This was how our friendship was able to evolve as we evolved individually, and how it was able to outlast any of our romantic relationships. Hoes before bros, as Jessie would say. Rebecca was unfazed. "Elise, are you sure you can't make it to my rehearsal dinner? Don't make me beg." I would have loved to see Rebecca beg. She got her way with a bat of an eyelash and a pretty please. "You know I can't. I have a wedding booked that night." It was one of the few gigs I'd managed to secure this wedding season that didn't include a friends and family discount, and I couldn't pass it up. It was booked over a year ago, before her fiancé Mark proposed, I should have reminded her. Rebecca sniffed at my reply. "First my brother, now you. Who's next? The band?" "I would if I could," I said with an apologetic smile. As for her younger brother Ben, I wasn't in any position to speak for him. The guy had caused enough drama after he was MIA for the engagement party. I was the lucky lady to be paired up with him in the wedding party. Rebecca basically instructed me to be a human handcuff before he could go AWOL during the reception. "You already bailed on the bachelorette party." It was unbecoming of Rebecca to guilt-trip me. She knew it would take more than that to convince me. She'd met my mother, who conveyed her, "I left Vietnam for this" look of disappointment after I dropped out of college, and another when I quit my job at a renowned event planning company to start my own studio. My guilt quota was met for a few lifetimes. I had an event that weekend, too. It was a small wedding at the Arboretum that required little setup, so I technically could have caught the flight with them to Miami if I'd had the money to spend. The irony of working in a multi-billion-dollar wedding industry was that I didn't make enough money to participate in it as a guest. "What about Sarah?" "She's leaving." That wasn't exactly true. I had to let my assistant go, just like I had to let Fernando, my delivery guy, go. It was my fault. The launch of my floral studio coincided with a dip in the economy and micro-weddings becoming trendy. Events scaled down along with my profit margin. Disregarding contractual obligations, I literally couldn't afford to cancel these events, not even for one of my best friends. "Isn't it more important that I'm there for your actual wedding day?" "Yes," Rebecca agreed with the enthusiasm of an angsty teenager. Beth, noticing my discomfort, changed the subject to something everyone could get on board with. Everyone except me. "Elise, how come you haven't replied to my text about going on a blind date with Tom?" I stalled by refilling my dainty teacup with raspberry rooibos tea. "You know I prefer to meet the love of my life the old-fashioned way, accidentally sending letters to my high school crushes or entering a marriage pact with my best friend in case we're both single at 30, whichever comes first. So, what do you think, Beth?"